Good morning, India, and welcome to Gunner Short. And Gunner Short में आप सबका स्वागत है. Today we're going to tackle what's happened on day 16. Today is day 17. Yesterday was day 16. So what's happened? Where is it going? Where is this Iran war going? Right? Alongside, I'm going to talk about Pakistan, the other front of the Iran crisis. It all depends on time. If we have time, we'll go through Pakistan. If we don't have time, I'll do Pakistan a couple of hours later after a break. Right? So, because a lot of people have said it's getting too stretched, and I agree with them. So I'll get back maybe about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and talk of Pakistan. If it's all a matter of time, let's see how it goes. Okay. First and foremost, we'll talk first and foremost about Iran, day 16, right? Okay, what does New York Times say? I mean, I start with this because that sets the tone of the, what's happened in the past 2-3 days and all that. It's not a matter that I like New York Times more than any other or not. No. Okay, let's see what New York Times says. So that see, entering war's third week, Trump faces stark choices. I agree with New York Times. Trump has, caught between a rock and a hard place. Okay, nations respond with caution to Trump's call for warships at Strait of Hormuz. Trump called everyone to join in and all that. There's a logic behind that. Let me also talk of it. I'll talk of it. We can talk of it. The logic is that he wants now to form some kind of a multinational force which will, police this Gulf of Hormuz or the Strait of Hormuz. This is something like is it something like that, Board of Peace which he conjured up or this thing, then he'll muff it. And we'll see how all this goes. But there is something afoot. Okay. There's no guarantee that oil prices will drop. And some estimates say that this war will continue for the next 3 weeks. That's the minimum. And why 3 weeks? There's a logic in this. The logic is very simple. It will take USS Tripoli with those marines to take another 5-6 days to reach this area. Yesterday it was transiting through the South China Sea. Today I expect it to be somewhere around Malacca Strait. By the time it comes to the Arabian Gulf, it will be, or the North Arabian Sea, it should be another 3 to 4 days. And after that, give the marines at least 3 to 4 days before they take off. So you're looking at a week plus. And then action, and then something. We'll see. But then, war is so uncertain. Okay. So that's what New York Times say. What does Washington Post say? Washington Post came out with a very interesting headline. How Iran's tactics are complicating a quick declaration of victory for Trump. And I'm going to talk of this a little later. Okay. Tehran wages an economic war in the hopes of lasting US and Israel. That's happening. Right? At this point of time, you tell me that, look, is America winning? No. Is it Iran losing? No. Is America losing? Maybe. Is Iran winning? Maybe. That's the shift which has happened. It's happened, whether we like it or not. Okay. Then, what does Al Jazeera say? Al Jazeera says Iran dismisses Trump's claim of talks because Trump claimed that the Iranians are prepared to talk to me, but I don't think that's a good deal. I'm not going to talk to them and all that. Iran has said, get lost. I'm not going to do that. Okay. And there's a fire near Dubai, and Dubai is getting special treatment in this war. Okay. And of course, New York, Al Jazeera also says muted response to Trump as he urges other nations to join in and all that. No one wants to join in. What's happening is the European nations are talking directly to Iran. So there is some international pressure which is going to come on Iran. The strange silence is, of course, from China. They just shut up their mouth. Okay. Then, of course, yesterday evening, the thing was Isfahan hit, sirens in Israel. Trump says US not ready for a deal. All that thing, to and fro firing and all that is going on. So will it shift the war? I don't think it will tip the scales in anyone's favor. Firing an odd missile, hitting an odd target, all that. You have to start now seeing the cumulative. There's no wonder weapon which is going to solve the war for anyone. Right? No one. The war is now completely in the realm of Like I said yesterday, tel ka kel, and political issues. So we'll have to look at it from that point of view. In all this, remember, the fulcrum of this war is Strait of Hormuz. It remains closed. It is not Iran, it is not USA, it is not Kuwait, it is the Strait of Hormuz. Who controls Strait of Hormuz? Controls everything. The winner or the loser of this war will be dictated by the Strait of Hormuz. And this is geography, military geography coming in. And people have to understand. You can have the greatest missile, you can have the greatest technology, you can have the greatest economy. It doesn't matter. Geography counts. And I've been telling this from a long time. That's why geography counts for India. Himalayan wall counts for India. It doesn't matter what China has. China will bite it, will eat snow in the Tibetan uh, plateau. That's my view. Many people have said no, but I am very right on this. And remember, why I'm talking of, I'll spend a minute on Strait of Hormuz and explain to you. Just think, tomorrow there's a treaty. Iran, says, okay, I'm done and dusted. I'll enter a deal. Yay, whoa, everything. But the fact is, Iran sits over Strait of Hormuz. If tomorrow the relations, tomorrow, day after, and all, Iran reneges on its thing and whatever, it still can close Strait of Hormuz. So, Mr. Trump has bugged military geography and he's going to lose on this, because Iran will remain a relevant power. Because when you go forward, everyone will say Iran still controls Strait of Hormuz. You can't trifle with it. And this is where military geography counts. Look at China. China has got the worst military geography. It cannot control anything. It cannot control its own fate because the first island chain is not there. So the importance of geography is important, and that is needs to be understood. And that is where India scores. India has got a tremendous military geography, right? Tremendous. It juts into the Indian Ocean, and anyone who goes around the Indian Ocean has to say hello, India. Okay. And people don't understand this. People look at dollars. I don't see that Amitesh Solo coming these days. Oh, sir, China has got this technology, that technology. My left foot. See where technology is biting dust. I've always said the human is more important, the ground is more important. This one sentence of mine, the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, remember, is very important. And please apply it in any equation, in any military confrontation in geopolitics. Ground matters, terrain matters, right? If you people understand this one thing, and in all my analysis, I don't leave the ground. Mother Earth, Mitti, Ma, Dharti Ma. These are very important concepts and important constructs in war, right? I've spent a little time because people have to understand this. Because a lot of my analysis is based on ground. Okay. This is the headlines of Al Jazeera yesterday. US and Israel continue their attacks on Iran with missiles striking multiple cities, central Isfahan. 15 people have been killed. See, this is another thing. The number of people Iran has been able to, kill through their missiles and all is not much. But they are suffering huge losses, manpower losses. When that will hit them, we don't know. Don't think Iran is running and getting away and it's winning the war. It's getting hit badly. Okay. It's not in a great shape. The fact is that a set of guys in Iran have got power and they've got the military muscle which they've built, and they're entrenched rogues. I'll put it this way: they entrenched rogues. I have no sympathy for the Iranian regime. And they have held the whole globe to ransom. Okay. Iran launches multiple barrages of missile at Israel, claims attacks on US bases in Iraq and Kuwait. That's happened, yes. US President Donald Trump says Iranians have reached out to him for a deal, but that terms aren't good enough, and Iran has said, get lost. That's where it is. Actually, when you look at it, it's the battle of two predators, right? Yeah, I see Shreya has joined in, and yeah, let me get him in. Yes, sir. Welcome. Welcome to the Good Morning India show. Your opening views on what I've shown so far. Or if you've
Thank you
not
so
seen,
much.
then just started.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much, sir. I just did another program about half an hour ago
yeah, that's
with
okay.
Sridhar Chityalaji, where we got an American perspective. Now we're going to get another different perspective. A lot of things are happening at the same time. The first thing that appears to be apparent now is it was there in the offing that the mullahs have lost control. So it's like Iran has gone from the frying pan to the fire. Looks like IRGC has now taken control. We talked about this offline. Remember, sir, that one
Yep.
guy, Qasim Soleimani.
Yeah, we
So
did.
the
We did.
story now is this is the interesting story. What they're saying is Qasim Soleimani had done this whole thing. In other words, from that point forward, the entire Iran Republic is being run from an IRGC council, not from the mullahs, even though the mullahs are
Maybe.
the figureheads. It's amazing, sir. I just wanted to tell you because this is something that's like a big revelation. You're going from street thugs now, trying to determine the fate of a great civilizational country. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, I go with you completely, but there is. I don't see your panel, your channel hooked up in this.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
No, no,
Uh,
take your time. Take 2 minutes. Hook it up. At least start beaming.
okay, I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it
Yeah, do
right
it,
now.
do it.
Okay,
As
sir.
you do it, we'll continue with the story. You just have to listen on to what's happening. We
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have
yeah,
to. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Right.
Thank
So
you.
I spoke about this. Okay. Now, Shreyaji has brought in a new angle that there's a crumpling of the Iran. I've said this. I've just said this. That Iran is being run by a set of rogues, entrenched IRGC, which is not going to give up. The news is that even Mojtaba is under their control. Mojtaba is just the figurehead of the IRGC. So going forward, things are not going to be easy. That's the first thing one should understand. Right. Like, I want to just read out what Trump has said. It's a statement we need to understand. He says we are talking to other countries about working with us on the policing of the strait. So this is an important thing which that is trying. Who policies the strait? Because this war will end maybe 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, 1 month. But what about later? The Iran can't be allowed to have a permanent handle on the Strait of Hormuz. So is there an international system which is going to come in? That's the point which is thing. And he says, I think we're getting a good response. We are all the way there for NATO, yay, whoa, all that. Okay, right. He says he's talking of Iran. He says their missiles are down to a low number. They're shooting very few of them. We've decimated them. Yay, whoa, all that. And he's bragged about the whole thing. But the main operative thing is policing of the Hormuz Strait. He's not been able to do much about it. Okay. So, and that's what he's saying. And I don't know whether his efforts to get a coalition of people, to, rather get into this will work. In the meanwhile, US Central Command has put out, their customary tweet. Iranian combat power declines as US dominance builds over vast swaths of Iran. Well, that's happening. Like I said, it's not as if Iran is up and running and winning this war. It's not. Understand this. While America is not winning this war, so is Iran. Iran is also not winning. They're getting hammered and hammered 10 times more. We don't know about it this because there's not enough feed coming out except what is coming from Central Command, and there's no reporting from inside. Okay, but there's reporting everywhere else, and so one strike and it gets blown up. So there's a asymmetry of information also. There's a media asymmetry which is playing out. Understand that. And then, of course, emergency services in Dubai are responding to a fire and all that. This happened yesterday. Like I said, Dubai is being targeted specifically, right? And this analysis by Zahak Tanvir, He says Iran sent 48% of its missiles to the UAE and only 12.8% to Israel. This is a surprise. Why are they targeting Dubai? It's the same UAE who, from where these people laundered their money, kept money. It was the hub for Iranian companies despite sanctions. Dubai was the channel through which Iran, operated with the rest of the world. The shadow banking and everything. But the, as per him, he says the Iranian mullahs have bit the very hand that have helped them. Yeah, you're coming. So I don't know why they're doing this. This is a very interesting development, which I thought we need to discuss. And Sriyaji, your views on this? Why is Iran hitting, UAE in the manner it is? Any thoughts on that? No, you're muted. You have to
I was
demute it.
racking my brains about that, General Shankar, as to why they would be doing this. Sir, if there is no central command and everything is gotten decentralized, then probably the 31 district guys, there seems to be something there. If we go, we are going to take you down with you. And they don't seem to be thinking about the other consequences. We know for a fact, like for example, the Khamenei family has billions stored away outside of the outside of Iran, and this is all whatever oil money, whatever other things. So, but think about it from a district level IRGC commander. He may get some perks, but he's probably not seeing these riches, right? Plus, I have a feeling they don't get the full scope of how war gets run. You have your fiefdom, you are the king of that fiefdom, and you think everybody listens to or dances to that tune. And it seems that way to me, sir. I think we will have to wait for some time before the reality will, come out. Eventually, it will come out. Another interesting thing that I found. Last thing, sir, before we go, viewers, if you're joining on P Gurus, you'll be joining in the middle. I would request General Shankar to kind of give us so far like 1 minute summary of what we have done so far, and then I'm so sorry to put you through this.
No,
then
no
we'll
problem.
continue.
No problem.
Go ahead, sir.
I just highlighted as usual in the Good Morning India show, what the headlines of New York Post, New York Times, Washington Post, and Al Jazeera, right? And I've highlighted the important aspects. And as we enter into the third week of this war, everything is uncertain. Um, y- you know, Trump has been hit by Iran with a whole lot of things, cards which Iran has played, and we're going to discuss that ahead. We've spoken of the deal which Trump has spoken of, and not much response. And Al Jazeera has spoken about the you know hits Isfahan has got and hits Israel has got, and of course we are talking of Dubai also. And speaking of Dubai, and we just heard Shreyar giving his perspective of why Dubai is being hit. That's the civilian perspective. Now I'll give you the military perspective. I don't believe. I mean, this is it's a contra thing, but this is why when you join this kind of a podcast, you'll get both sides. It's a stereo effect, right? And that's important for everyone. See, I don't believe they're doing all this without a plan. Why are they hitting Dubai? Look at this map alongside. They're hitting Dubai to control Strait of Hormuz. Why? Why are they hitting Dubai? If you hit Dubai, you hit Fujairah. The moment you hit Fujairah, and they've hit Fujairah twice. The moment you hit Fujairah, the oil from Hatran to Fujairah through the oil pipeline, which can bypass Strait of Hormuz, right? Yesterday I explained this in detail. Right, is gone. They've hit Fujairah, so you can't oil. And mind you, Dibal Fujairah, that is the port of Fujairah, is not in the Persian Gulf. It's in the Gulf of Oman. It has got, you can still pump oil out from there. So that's being targeted to control. Like I said, this whole story is about the Strait of Hormuz. It boiled down to that. Please understand it. Okay, and the whoever will win or lose the whole story will hinge around the Strait of Hormuz. And second, if the Americans want to make a land effort to get the north bank of the Strait of Hormuz, they have to come through Dubai. They have to come through this area. And if Dubai is made into a ghost town or a ghost city, when I say Dubai, it's not Dubai alone, the UAE, then the US people will not be welcome there and they'll not get that support. And that kind of a thing. And whether it will succeed or not is a different thing. Personally, I don't think it will succeed. Right. And then, of course, Iran started using a new missile system, the Sajal ballistic missile, for the first time yesterday. And I'll show you a clip of this missile. Can you hear this? Fine. So this is the missile which they fired yesterday, and why I'm showing this to you is, so far we didn't see such firings and all from Iran too much. We got a one-way media or news information about what US was doing, their strikes, their everything. We saw Brad Cooper talking and all. Now Iran has started showing their missiles, what they're doing and what they're capable of and how they're hitting. Right? Sajal is a 2,000-kilometer missile. 2,000 kilometers covers a lot of distance. Right? And it's a heavy missile. And wherever it falls, it will make a lot of damage. And today we know Iran has got only one, the missile force and a bit of navy, where it can mine the Strait of Hormuz. So it is playing its game the way it is. The more important thing is, at this point of time, yesterday, if they've come out with the Sajal missile, they are giving an indication to everyone, we are still alive and kicking. This is still a two-sided contest. It's not a one-sided contest that America can do what it wants. America might, in the end, win the military victory, but will it win the political victory? That's the point. And like I said earlier, it's all about the Strait of Hormuz. Okay. There's a certain amount of frustration creeping in within the military establishment of US and the media and their thing. Just hear the tone of Pete Hexett's talk with the media. And I'll request after this, Shreyarji, give your views on this.
Because you, and I mean specifically you, the press, specifically you, the press corps, because you cheer against Trump so hard, it's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump, because you want him not to be successful so bad, you have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes. You have to hope maybe they weren't effective. Maybe the way the Trump administration has represented them isn't true. So let's take half-truths, spun information, leaked information, and then spin it in every way we can to try to cause doubt and manipulate the public mind over whether or not our brave pilots were successful. How many stories have been written about how hard it is to, fly a plane for 36 hours? Has MSNBC done that story? Has Fox? Have we done the story how hard that is? Have we done it 2 or 3 times so that American people understand? How about how difficult it is to shoot a drone from an F?
So, what do you make out of this talk and the tone of the talk? It's very strange that a Secretary of Defense of a nation start ranting against his own press, and says the press is against them. I mean, it's very serious. I thought this was a very funny thing which is happening. Your on this.
Janet Shankar, Pete Hexeth in a previous life was a YouTube host, just like you and me. Sometimes you've told me in the middle of the show, see, you are getting emotional. So this is this. So there is some angst amongst the Trump administration members that the 4 main networks, CNN and the ABC, NBC, and CBS, so they're not taking aim at Fox, but these 4 networks, they're saying that you guys are being biased and that you are not really reporting the truth. There may be a grain of truth in that. For example, CNN wanted to go to Iran, but for some reason Iran said yes, and then they changed their mind. And CNN started reporting only from Israel. And there, even then, they sent one guy to Iran. And that guy happened to be at the spot where the black rain was falling post that one day when Israel had set the oil storage tanks on fire in Tehran. See, that's all I saw from CNN coverage. That look, this is carcinogenic, this is black rain, and this is what we have caused. Then US went and checked with Israel. You never said that you're going to take aim at the storage tank, because if you look at it, US is not aiming for anything to do with oil infrastructure or oil storage thus far. So there was a division of opinion there, and in fact, both Jared Kushner and the other guy, Steve something, they both had to fly down in person to Jerusalem and convey the message from Trump: no more attacking oil infrastructure, especially storage tank. And I think Israel said, yeah, but Israel will do what they think they want to do. So, sir, you want to finish this thing, because I have one other interesting observation about internet in Iran. Let's finish this, and then I'll come back.
No. Look, what I want to bring out is, when a nation, its armed forces, and the establishment and the media are not on one page, what does it talk about the national, power being projected, especially so far away? Does it talk of a nation which is united or divided? That's the question which comes up when a person of this nature talks like this in open public.
Very true, very true. Sir, the next thing that happened was Israel took out the jamming facility that was jamming internet throughout Iran. And this is an IRGC facility. So essentially, once that was taken out, internet was enabled again. But they went ahead, the IRGC went ahead and shut off all the servers. The internet is just basically a bunch of servers that, convey information. So now they are okay with even their own inter-group communication being cut off.
Yeah.
So right now it's internet blind completely.
Yeah.
So,
that's okay.
So I'm giving you a counter to Al Fujairah that these guys, one can't really fathom what they are trying to do. Next thing, sir.
One is very clear what they're planning to do. Militarily, let me tell you, militarily they're playing a smart game. And look, if someone attacks India, the first thing I will say, shut off the internet. Very simple. Get that place or the battlefield into isolation and divide the battlefield so that no one knows what's happening, and get control at the top. That's happening, but there's a different problem with Iran. We'll not get into that, and we'll leave it at that. But as this battle is progressing, as this war is going on, right, there's something else coming up. This is a chap from Kuwait. Just hear him.
We need to know that you cannot appease Zionists. You cannot buy influence. Look at Jared Kushner. We know how much he took from the Gulf. It's open source public info. And now the same countries that gave him all that money for zero return are facing strikes and bombs. And they're trying to make it seem as if it is our duty to carry on the job that Israel wants to continue, which is a very crazy idea to begin with. So we need to change the way we think how we can influence Washington.
So, see, now
we need to know that...
Oh, sorry, 1 minute.
You can...
So the very people who were supporting, Washington in this whole story are now slowly backtracking. You see, this is not a great sign for USA going ahead. It's not only this war is still going on. And looking ahead also, there are going to be shifts in this whole game. Right? And I think USA is not handling this aspect very well. Of course, let me give you the counter to this. The counter to this is all these Gulf countries are so weak, the monarchies are so weak, that tomorrow, irrespective of how Iran emerges from this or not, if USA is not there, Iran will topple all of them.
Yeah.
Right? So the Gulf countries are caught between Iran and USA. and they have no choice but to, be on the side of USA. So I thought this is important. Your view on this, and then we'll move ahead.
Sir, I think he said something out loud that he was not supposed to say.
Well, he said
about
that
paying a lot of money to Jared Kushner.
Look, that's the point. The point is these cracks will come up, and this will, this is Kuwaiti TV. This is only a snippet. I don't know the full thing, right? I just picked it up. I'm airing it. I'm sure others would have also picked it up and spoken. Okay, and that puts a lot of questions on the Trump administration itself, right? So it's not going to be easy. Why? War is something where you need the people with you.
I just need to say one more thing, sir, before you continue. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Look, we are getting nuggets of information from these podcasts that General Shankar and I are doing. Good Morning India. You know why? A while back, 6 months ago maybe, John Helmer came on General Shankar's podcast on Gunner Shot, and he let out the secret. He said that Trump's bagman, Steve Witkoff, is talking to Putin's bagman. Bagman is the guy who actually takes the money, makes sure, and then he makes sure that he'll distribute it according to the boss's instructions. So now, it looks like there must be something there inside the family, Shankar, that they said that time only Witkoff was going. Okay. There's something going on in the family, Trump family. He said, no, he shall not go alone anymore. Let Jared Kushner also go. So that tells you that at the end of the day, all these guys, they'll be killing our soldiers, whether it is US or other countries. They'll be laughing all the way to the bank, and they're just going to get even more rich. Just wanted to point that out. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And now let's see, the France has deployed warships. So France is getting into the act. Whether they'll get into Hormuz or not, we'll see. How they will get into Hormuz, because at this point of time, no one can enter the Strait of Hormuz, my way of looking at it. Not a US, you have to get hold of the north bank of the Strait of Hormuz and the islands in the Persian Gulf in the Strait of Hormuz. If you don't do that, you're out of the equation. So we'll see how this happens. Just by putting some navy there, that area doesn't get. They could have been mined also. If those areas are mined, then you have to do mine clearing operations. But you can do mine clearing operations only if you can enter that place. And to enter that place, you have to put boots on ground. If they do it in a different manner, we'll see. Because to prove me wrong is going to be difficult on this. But if they do in a different manner, it's not going to be permanent. Take it from an old military salt like me. Okay, this is a very interesting story, which I read in Washington Post. Trump is eager to declare victory, but a battered Iran still has cards to play. And I picked up some issues from this, and this is something relevant, which is going to be playing out as we go along. Because you don't get answers to the issues raised here, the whole world is in trouble. Where is the uranium? No one has, the questions are whether Iran can access the stockpile of that enriched uranium itself. Has it done so or not? Right? You see, last time when the US people hit Fordo, Natanz, Isfahan, and all that, the canisters which held the gas, the uranium is in the form of uranium hexafluoride. They were supposed to have been buried under the rubble. That's the story which came out. Has that been done? We don't know. Have Iranian engineers and scientists gone and converted that gas into material and into a dirty bomb and all that? Have they been doing that? For the past 8 months, 9 months, it was supposed to be that Iran didn't have any capability to do so. So is Iran playing a big bluff? And that bluff card is spooking everyone. Right? So this is a very important thing as we go along, and this will be important as long as, whichever regime comes up in Iran. Okay. The next thing, there's a gap in achievement. There's a broad gap between what has been achieved on the battlefield and Washington's ability to control Iran as a regional threat. It's not a matter of now. Even if you come to a deal and if Iran retains certain amount of power, it will remain a regional threat. I have said this. But I'm qualifying it today again. The whole story has come down to the Battle of Hormuz and the military geography of this area where Hormuz is the key. Irrespective of what Iran is, unless there's a Washington friendly Iran, something like the going back, throwback to the Raza Pahlavi's days and all that, the the Strait of Hormuz will be with Iran in some form or the other. And to that extent, Iran will retain the ability to control many things in the globe and it will remain a power. Right? This is something which we have to understand. Right. And the next part of the story is you might have done anything, but there's a windfall to Russian coffers. And what does it do? It gives resources to Russia to continue the fight with Ukraine. Okay. And the same Ukraine which you are supporting. So, what is the achievement of Trump geostrategically at the end of this war? Is a question which will be, I'm very sure many people might not debate, many people might debate, but this will come up. Can I have your views on this, Shreyaji? You're muted.
Thank you. We have to go back to that Alaska meeting. Is it possible that Putin and Trump divvied up the thing? Like Trump told Putin, I need to take on China head on. Putin also needs to take China head on. He might have said yes, he might have said no, he might have listened carefully. But they agreed to some things. Like, for example, you deal with Europe the way you feel fit, that is to Putin. I will control my hemisphere, complete West and South America, Central America, and North America. And I also will control some things in Middle East, which is how it has been. So that's why, Syria, Putin just accepted Bashar Assad and they have not really tried to put boots on the ground. But on the other hand, Putin has started filling the gap left by France in Northern Africa, in some of the countries. Sahel region, for example. We used to have this Wagner army, but once the head went, it became part of the Russian army. So some divvying up of assets have happened. And I think, and another friend of mine also agrees with me on this, he's a very reliable forecaster of how things play out, that these two decided that let India and China figure out which one is going to prevail in that there's going to be another battle, economic perhaps, and let's not worry about them for now. But US will go after China, and in fact this whole thing with Iran and now also Cuba is going to open up their entire country for imports, FDI investment and things like that. That's what the latest I read there. So something like that may have been agreed to, sir.
Yeah. So when you talk of gap in achievement, yeah, I go with you, and this is a very important thing which Shreyaji has brought out. The gap in achievement is restricted to what is happening here, but overall, with Cuba gone and going under the American umbrella is a huge thing. Trump has achieved something which has not happened for the past 70 years, right? And with Cuba gone, the Chinese influence in Latin America is completely broken. It's a communist government which is broken. And he's put up the white flag. So it's not all, loss for USA. USA will, tomorrow, Trump will go back to his electorate and say, look what I've done to Latin America. My oil is in my hand. He'll control the oil of this area. On that, I have no doubt. Okay. And at the end, Trump has, what shall I say, he'll make a deal with Iran, whoever is there. That's my assessment. He'll say, you give me your oil, you do what you want inside, and let the Strait of Hormuz be open. If he makes that deal, he's laughing his way to the bank. Understand this, right? I think slowly he is looking at a deal, and the deal is all about oil. And this I've said sometime back. He's taken an Indonesian oil. Greenland is under his control. Russian oil is freed, and it's under the dollar economy. It's only the Iranian thing which is falling into place. And the Iranian thing needed a military push. Now I'm arguing for USA, mind you. I do this argument on both sides. And that's how you get a balanced view. So at one level, right, while many might feel that Trump is losing story in Iran, he might be winning the story globally. Right? That's what I'm trying to put across. Similarly, at one level, one might think that Iran is getting hit badly. You might end Iran getting a political victory of some kind in its own way. So we'll see. Don't come to any terminal conclusion about what's going to happen on this thing. And then, of course, there's a residuals. This is important. The residuals of this. What are the residuals? A hardened regime in Tehran will be there in power, like what Shreyaji outlined earlier. Iran will continue to retain control of that 440 kg of highly enriched uranium, HEU, 60%. We don't know. I mean, that's a bluff. Whether they play it as a bluff or not, we don't know. It will retain the ability to control Hormuz Strait, which I've mentioned. This whole story comes down to the military geography of that area, the Hormuz Strait. Okay. The Iranian bombardment of Persian Gulf nations will not run away. It will not go away from the memory of all these fellows who thought everything is okay with that now that the Americans are here. The Americans, heard the Kuwaiti chap saying, look, that fellow took money, but he's not helped me. I'm still getting hit. And the proxies are reviving. Right? The proxies are active and reviving. You will need to hit them again and again and again to, as the Israeli says, that they're mowing the grass. So this macro thing is something which people have to understand. Any points of yours on this, Shreyaji?
So think about this. We talked about this again offline. Viewers, one day we both will talk about how Iran was completely, changed the way they interacted with Israel by just one individual, Qasem Soleimani. And we'll have to go back. I keep telling this, General Shankar. On Netflix, there's a show called Shadow of Beirut. It came 4 episodes or 5 episodes. It's about this one guy, ace bomb maker in Beirut, that try as they might, Israel is unable to catch him. It's a beautifully well-crafted thing. It's not fiction, it's the truth. So again, in that, there is a real-life character who comes to meet him, and that is Qasem Soleimani. So we were talking about probably 1990s. So that guy had put together for 20 years, networking, the 3 H's and everything. So, in fact, sir, what's his name? The Hezbollah guy who got Hassan Nasrallah. They did something clever. Israel actually went to war with Hezbollah, and they had to kind of come to a truce. Israel couldn't finish them off. 2006, and because of that, they said, okay, we'll give you self-rule in Palestinian occupied areas such as Gaza and West Bank. And in 2007, after the first election or something like that, Hamas wiped out everybody else and they sat there. So everything goes back to that guy, how he planned it. It looks like it's still continuing with the IRGC.
Qasem Soleimani was the architect of the Quds force, the army and everything. And the way the proxies have spread all over, it is Qasem Soleimani. That's why they assassinated him. And he was very close to Khamenei. In fact, Khamenei considered him to be his son, right? And whatever he had done then, it's now, flourishing. And that's where the whole story is. But let's go on to something else. This is the Iran, and this residuals of Iran which we have spoken of will not run away. Right? So unlike previous, battles, like, when you hit Bangladesh and you created Bangladesh and 93,000 people of the Pakistan army laid down their arms and India declared victory, that kind of victory won't happen anymore. This is not going to be a victory on that. If any one of you think that this war is going to end that kind of victory where everyone lays down his arms, forget it. This is going to be a end where everyone will claim victory and the world will continue the way it is. Right? I'm telling you ahead of time. Right? Okay. Now let me go to something else today, which is important, which has come up, part of our update. There are global shortages and collaterals which are happening because of this war. There are long queues reported at fuel stations across Sri Lanka. right?
Yeah.
And Sri Lanka has been hit. And there's the picture and the tweet, right? And of course, we're going to help them out. That's a different story. India is going to help them out. Look at what's happening to people who went to Thailand.
Bangkok. Tony Cheng sent us a story.
It was supposed to be a couple of months' escape from the bleak British winter for Sam and Mark. Instead, they're now worrying about how to get home. Their original flight through Doha has been cancelled, and they've no idea when a new seat will be available.
The frustration mainly is through the communication, and I would have thought since COVID they might have had a better contingency plan in place.
The beaches of Southeast Asia are a popular choice for tourists seeking to escape the cold weather. Few would have imagined that the war in Iran would impact their plans. But 20,000 flights have been cancelled globally in recent weeks, leaving more than 400,000 people stranded.
So look at that, 20,000 flights cancelled, 400,000 people, stranded. So the collaterals will come out as we go along. The collateral, it's just not about oil, it's not about fertilizers, it's the inconvenience people are facing. And you see, so many flights cancelled, 20,000 flights cancelled, so much economy gone down the drain. If those chaps have gone down the drain, there's going to be a hit on people's livelihood, after all, jobs. And we'll see collapses, business collapses taking place. This is only the war is just 13 days, 16 days old. A lot of things are going to happen, and your take on all this. Over to you.
It is true. The whole thing is, it's a huge upheaval. Many of my friends are also stuck in India. They can't get back to the United States. Some flights have resumed. If you are lucky, if you booked your tickets through the east, like Cathay Pacific or Singapore, then things are okay. But if you happen to be flying through Middle East, like Doha or Dubai or Abu Dhabi, no. Huge problem, and you don't have any visibility. They are not, I don't think they are refunding your tickets either. And so this is something that's like your worst nightmare. Sir, I'll tell you another story. People are losing their job. If you are a consultant, and if you're stuck in places like India, for example, you make money only if you show up to work. And there is no company to employee agreement here. It's a horrible situation to be in. I really hope that something where, even like you said, some kind of an equilibrium status is achieved, where oil continues to flow through Hormuz Strait, because this is also going to ruin a lot of the Middle Eastern countries. I mean, Iran is gone, but other countries also are going to suffer.
Yeah, and
except maybe Saudi Arabia, but for how long?
Yeah, but for how long? And this is going to affect the global economy big way. A lot of like he said, a lot of people are going to lose their livelihood and their families and all. There's going to be a lot of problems coming ahead. Yeah, it's only guys like us who are on YouTube. Everyone wants to see what's happening, know what's happening. We'll survive. Okay, though this is not my source of income or something, but for many people this is, and they'll survive. So you have to start thinking differently today. And then global finance is going to get survived, going to get hit. People are going to, we don't know, their savings is going to be eaten up into. People must have invested in flats, they must have been paying mortgages and all that. It's going to be very difficult going ahead. I see this effect will last for 2-3 years, because nations will start behaving differently from here on. Okay.
Very true.
But I would like to say, as an Indian, I'm okay. Let me tell you, we'll be the best off. We will be hit, but we'll be the best off. It's not as if we're not going to be hit. We're going to be hit. Let's be very clear. The whole world is going to take a hit. Where others will contract, you might continue to expand. And that expansion is a golden opportunity for us. And it's also a challenge in some manner. And let me tell you, at this point of time, Iran has approached the BRICS forum to, help them out and, come to and pass a resolution against US and all that. And that's one part of the BRICS forum. The other part of the BRICS forum is UAE, which is against Iran. So, and India is the chairman of the BRICS, or the presidency of the BRICS is with us. And on this thing, so have a look at what our spokesman, Mr. Randir Jaiswal, had to say.
Are directly involved in the current situation in West Asia. This has obviously impacted forging a consensus on a common BRICS position on the ongoing conflict. As chair of BRICS, we have been facilitating discussions among BRICS members through Sherpa channel. We are trying our best to develop a position, but because of differing positions, it is difficult. It has been difficult. In addition, as you know, our leadership also is in talks. They are engaged with member countries of the BRICS, and we will continue to remain engaged with BRICS member countries so that we can arrive at a position on BRICS.
Look, this is important what he said. India, see, there are 2-3 things which I want to highlight in this. One is India is being in the chair of BRICS has to come to a position. Yeah, it's a difficult task altogether. But something else has happened which I want to highlight. No one talks of China today. Everyone is talking of India. Look, yesterday we spoke to Sandeep Punithan. All of you who are watching. We said India today gave a platform for USA, Israel, and Iran to come and talk at different times. Today, as chairman BRICS, you're doing something. You're trying to get into a position and talk and all that. Everyone is looking at India. Okay, then if you go back a week back before that, during the Raisina dialogues, you had a similar thing where the ambassador of Iran to India, he came and spoke. Similarly, I think there was some guy from USA. He came and spoke, though he spoke out of turn. But he spoke. The fact is that India is emerging as the place in the past 14-15 days where you can talk openly to everyone. It is India who helped Iran out by hosting all those soldiers and the navy and keeping that vessel intact. It is India which has gone out to buy Russian oil at premium and refine and stabilize the global prices. So the centrality of India or the importance of India in this is coming up big time. And to that extent, our economy might be hit, but not beyond a point. I want you to talk about this part of the story, Sri Ayerji, where it is developing.
Sir, there is a huge opportunity for Air India if they want to make use of it. Look, I've been telling this to you again and again. Don't wait for your own planes. Hundreds of planes are grounded in Qatar, in Emirates. Just lease them for 12 months. You are going to make money hand over fist. You know why? Because you are the one country that can fly east or west without having to fuel. Figure out that part. Worst case, in one place in somewhere that you have to do. But today, people are desperate to get back. So this is just one story for one company. Like this, there are so many opportunities that are available, but you need to be able to see what the thing is and move in a way that you can capitalize on this. Amazing, sir. I wish I was like 100 crore kind of running company in India. This would take you directly to 10 times more.
I'm sure.
The way things are going.
I'm sure things are working on this. We'll see how things go. Don't.
Yeah.
Let's see how things happen. So the fact which you have highlighted, which I completely endorse, is that there is an opportunity for India in this whole story, and that's the important thing which I leave behind. Okay. Actually, I wanted to cover this also. Pakistan, the other front of the Iranian crisis. I don't think I'll be able to do that now because we have already hit nearly 1 hour. I will take a few questions also. And at about 2 o'clock, I'll come back live and talk that because that I didn't realize, but that's one full podcast.
It's a different a story on its own. Yes.
So 2 o'clock, folks, I'll come back. Those of you watching can join me on Gunner Shot. Right. Okay. Now, can we take a few questions before this thing?
Yes, sir.
Comment?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I just have one announcement. Normally,
yeah,
10 a.m. on Mondays is my hangout with Sri Rajagopalanji. He had to go to the ICU last week or 10 days ago. He's fine. He's going to be back in action middle of the week this week. So keep you posted. We'll try to get him on this week itself. I just wanted to give that to all our viewers who are watching this program. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, wish him the very best of health and good recovery.
I will, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, what is the name? I'm not able to get the name.
Shio Balak Singh.
Yo, Balak Singh, thanks a lot for joining as a YouTube member. Ajay Dasa, again, thanks for joining as a YouTube member. Bharati Vats, Jai Hind sir, seen report of economic chief of China meeting American counterpart. Trump seeking Xi Jinping help to secure Strait of Hormuz. Yours take. Any views of yours before I give
Yes,
out my
sir.
view?
Yes, sir. I do have a view on this one. Trump has hinted today that if the Strait of Hormuz does not open, then he might not come to China. So China, see, there's also some other revelations that have happened. I don't know if I should touch on that.
Please.
The role of China in Iran's fight here, because China thinks it's next. Well, we don't know about that, but be that as it may. So now, I think there was an interview he gave to Financial Times. Trump has said that if the Strait of Hormuz doesn't open, then I might not go to China. And China desperately needs him to come because their bigger economic pie is in danger right now. That's what I wanted to say, sir.
Yeah. That's a very important thing which you said. And look, people have to understand. I'll again repeat: China is the worst hit of all these. People don't understand. A lot of talk, nonsense talk is going on, and Xi Jinping is in a, he's a, what's that? What do they call? Something creek with a paddle. He's up that
He's
creek.
up shit creek. Up shit creek without a paddle.
Yeah. Okay. And he has to. And this is one way of opening the Strait of Hormuz politically. So, which means that there's a political solution coming in. And this political solution, I can tell you, will involve Iran to say you rule what you want. I mean, if I see the outlines of a solution, this is it. Iran, IRGC, and gang, you continue dealing with your thing, what you want within Iran. I'll let you have your oil. Okay? But your oil will be mine. It'll come through I will control your oil. You can sell it, but at my cost. Strait of Hormuz policing. Everyone else, that's when the dollar economy is back, petrodollar. If I can see Trump's larger plan, this is it.
Yep.
So let's see
I
how it
completely
goes.
agree with you. Completely agree with you. Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. Okay. Then the next thing, will war go nuclear if economic crisis deepens? Will it grow nuclear?
No, I don't think so, sir.
I don't think so. I don't think anyone is talking of nuclear. I don't think Iran has got anything nuclear as of now. In future, it might be nuclear, all that we'll see. But it is at this point of time, it is not nuclear. Okay. And there's no way. If let me also put it, if Iran talks of going nuclear, it'll be carpet bombed out of ship.
Yeah.
There'll be carpet bombing. And Iran will be destroyed. That's a different story altogether. We'll not go there. Okay. I have a lot of questions and views which have come up, with the way things are. I really can't handle them. So all of you, those of you who want to put in questions, my request is put it in the start question. I can't handle it. I mean, I really can't handle it. We've got so many questions. We have questions we would like to answer. We don't have time also. So with this, I'd like Sherji, your final comments, and then we'll close the show.
Sir, thank you so much for including me. Today, my mistake, viewers. I had another program and then I had to do some house cleaning before I could come back to this one. And I thought I still had 20 minutes. That's when I saw the ping from General Shankar. Are you joining? He was already 5 minutes into the program. Then I joined and then I had to go back and set it up. So sorry about all that stuff. Look, we are standing at a point now where we are actually starting on the cusp of history. This is going to be setting the table for another 100 years, I think, the way things are going, because there is no way the other side can, hit back. You can get the odd missile out here or there and find some target and hit it. But overall, the thing is going only in one direction, the way I see it. And the sooner Iran sees that, the lesser the losses. You see, there is something called cut your losses. If you're running a business and you don't have any visibility for the product you're manufacturing, what do? You're stuck with inventory. You just cut your losses and try and do something else. So this is what needs to be done in Iran. I don't know, sir, if it's these 31 district level commanders who are sitting and shura, council like thing and then deciding. That's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Okay, the last comment, which is important. Sir, can India offer to mediate for peace with relevant parties, or is the exercise wasteful? Don't we have an obligation? We're doing that. I've explained this to you. I thought, I must reinforce this. We've given them a platform, 2-3 places to come and thing. We don't know what's happening backstage. Okay, so things are happening. I think India is becoming more relevant by the day. I'll leave you with this thing. Come back at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to talk of Pakistan. Right? With this, thanks a lot to everyone. Thanks a lot to Shreyarji who's joined in, even if it's a little delayed. And for all of you, till the evening, have a great day and Jai Hind to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar.
Thank you.